All right, let's get this party started. Appreciate you guys joining us and welcome once again to the Jaggernaut podcast where me and my bro talk Jaguars football. So let's get this started right with the old Duval. You ready?
You ready? Yeah.
Duval.
Duval.
We're still
Uh,
working on that.
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah. I think
so
that will always be a work in progress. But that's just the way it is. It's okay. Frank,
just
man, hit him up. Let him know what we got coming for him on this show. What we're going to go over.
well, we're going to look at the camp battles. Camp starting up, and we need to discuss what's going to be taking place, what we kind of see um, as anytime you go into a season, you got your starters that are pretty much locks, and then you got the rest of the roster to try to see, who can make the roster, who's going to lose a spot, who's not going to make a roster, that sort of thing. We're going to talk about some of the names that we see, maybe kind of, and I think you can't avoid just basically dealing with the fact that you're going to almost be shaping the roster at this point as far as like how we see it working out when you're talking about camp battles. So, I mean, I think it's going to be camp battles and sort of what we think the roster is going to be. So, I think we want to get rolling with the. What did you want to do? Defense first?
Yeah, I wanted to do defense because I think the one spot on the team that is absolutely wide open, and there are probably two or three different people all vying for it, is our second safety position. We brought in Rayshon Jenkins. He's going to start. We paid him starter money. Unless he gets hurt in camp, he's safety one. And we have four other guys that off the top of my head who I can think of who might have a chance to be safety number two. I think there's some leaders in the pack based off of how long they've played, experience. And then we got the newcomer, Andre Cisco, who they really loved out of Syracuse, who has that potential to be that kind of ball hawk playmaker safety that we've never really had.
I'm excited about Cisco.
I want to wait and see it. I really want to wait and see it. And he's coming off an injury. So I don't really know how much, like Dylan Moses. They put Dylan Moses on IR already, you know, to give him a full year to heal. So Andre Cisco is coming off an injury too. So I want to see. I'm interested to hear the rumblings coming out of camp about him.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to the point. So now Cisco seems to me to be your typical strong box safety type. Um, Now, I'm not positive how they're going to run this defense at this point. The typical defense runs free and strong safety. So, um, to me, right off the top, Rayshon Jenkins is your free safety. I don't even think it's a battle unless he disappoints. You know, that
Yeah,
being
I mean, yeah, when you bring in a veteran for that amount of money, you're bringing him in to start.
so Cisco's possibly going to be competing for that second spot if he looks the part enough as a rookie. So who's he
Well,
competing
but
with?
he has to beat out the other three guys.
So they're all so I mean, in your mind, are they all basically going to play? I mean, are any of these guys more in line to just basically be the backup to Rayshon because they're more free than they are strong?
No, because I don't. If Joe Colin, I think, implements the way it is in Baltimore. In Baltimore, your safeties can almost be switched for your cornerbacks. Your cornerbacks can almost be switched for your safeties. I don't think they're going to play a strong safety, free safety. I think they're going to play a safety one and a safety two. On certain defenses, depending on what the call is, what the blitz is, they're going to bring one of those guys, either from the left side or the right side, down into the box. And the other guy would end up basically playing the free safety role while the other one comes down into the box to play the strong safety.
Let,
So I Go ahead.
let me throw out the safeties as I see that are locks on this team, and you kind of
Okay.
fill in. So Rayshon Jenkins, Andre Cisco, Josh Jones, and Jared Wilson. Those are the ones that are locks. I don't see them not making the team, and it's just a matter of this point of how many safeties are we going to keep. I can't imagine them not keeping probably five,
Now,
maybe
see,
four. I don't know.
that sounds about right to me. Josh Jones is the enigma of the group right now, because every training camp for the last 3 training camps, we've heard good things about him, and then he's gotten hurt, and he's never really been able to produce on the field. So I put him almost in my Tavian Bryant category. You either put up or you shut up. So if he doesn't win that second starter job, I cut him.
You always trip me out anytime you ever go Tavian Bryant. It's
Dude,
Taven. It's Taven, man, not Tavian.
whatever. He hasn't played well enough for me to get his name right.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just curious about Josh Jones. I know the name pops up into my head, but I'm trying to think about what his. So did we didn't draft him, right? We got him from somewhere else, but I feel like he showed promise at
No,
some point.
no, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he was either a late round pick or a rookie free agent we picked up. And I remember his rookie year, all they were doing was talking about him because he was making plays in training camp, and then he got hurt. And then I think he came in, played later on in the season, played like a game, got hurt in the game. And basically that's been his MO is he's really not on the field. As an NFL player, your best ability is your availability. And to me, so far, he's shown he doesn't have that. Now, if he puts it together and earns that second safety spot, I'm cool. I don't have an issue with him because, like I said, for the last 3 years, all we've heard is that this guy can ball. We just haven't really seen it on the field.
I think you've got him confused with somebody else. I'm not sure who it is though, because I'm just looking up Josh Jones, and we picked him up last year off of waivers. He was originally drafted by Green Bay. He's been in the league for
Oh,
5
really?
years. Yeah.
Well, maybe it was another Jones. Sorry, Josh.
There now the other safeties on the field that are on the team that I have right now are Rudy Ford, Daniel Thomas, and Andrew Wingert. So any of them jump out at you as maybe who you're thinking of?
Well, Daniel Thomas. I think Daniel Thomas is also in play for that second spot. I think Winger and I think Rudy Ford's a special teams guy, although he plays safety, but he's more of a special teams guy. Winger may be the odd man out.
I don't like Winger. Ever since he got Josh, I don't even remember the guy's name, the tight end that got hurt early on. We drafted Josh Oliver, I think it was.
Yeah.
We ended up trading for some throwaway pick or something. But anyway, yeah, I don't expect Winger to make the team, but we'll see. I mean, this is why you play you have the camp.
Well, and that's the funny thing about the safety position is that you can be backup safety, and if you ball out on special teams, there are always 2 or 3 slots specific to special teams player. And really, in order to make this team, I think that's where Winger is going to do it, because I watched him play. He had some okay plays, but just not enough to warrant a starting role. And I think right now we have better backup, which means we actually have depth.
So when I threw out those 4 names, are there anybody that you disagree with making the roster? I mean, obviously we're predicting at this point. Who knows what's going to happen? But
no, I think it's Rayson Jenkins. I think it's Andre Cisco. I'm trying to think of the other guy. Daniel Thomas, Josh Jones, and then Rudy Ford most likely is going to be our 5th guy, but he'll be more of a special teams guy.
Well, I had Jared Wilson in that mix.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Well then let me take off Josh Jones and put Jared Wilson because I think Jared Wilson can play.
Okay, so you're thinking Daniel Thomas is going to make it and not Josh Jones.
Actually, I think maybe yeah, Daniel Thomas I think will make it over Josh Jones, and I think Winger and Josh Jones will be the two that are the odd man out.
Okay, so well, and here's the deal. Let's hit on this. Let's in the second. Well, we're just in the safeties at this point. So let's say that what we're looking for here is Josh Jones, Daniel Thomas, and Adam or Andrew Winger to they're all kind of vying for that position. So that to me just got highlighted as a camp battle. Those three guys are in
Oh
the
yeah,
race for
oh
that
yeah. I mean,
spot.
this is definitely probably one of the most deepest camp battles we have because it's essentially four guys, three or four guys vying for one spot. You can say it's three spots because it's the safety two, the backup, and the backup, and that's normally what you roll with. So you could say there's technically that, but how it all shakes out, all of that I think is outside of Rayshon Jenkins. Everything else that we keep for safety is a battle.
All right, well, let's move to corner.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to throw out four guys, no question lock. Tyson Campbell, Shaquille Griffith, CJ Henderson, Trey Herndon. Those are our four guys. They are our 1, 2, 3, and 4 corners. Disagree?
Yes. Yes, but I do think
Now we're keeping more corners, but
yeah, but I do think Sidney Jones might have a chance to beat
yeah.
out Trey Herndon.
Okay,
Herndon.
okay. So he's a camp battle then. So it's about who's going to be the next up.
Correct.
Now, so if Sidney Jones beats out Trey Herndon, are you don't imagine there is some contract issue or something? I don't know if you're aware of that, but let's just say Sidney Jones beats out Trey Herndon, which is possible because Sidney Jones, I've got him highlighted as the next guy there because I feel like he played pretty good and showed some promise last year.
Yeah, when he wasn't hurt, he actually was balling. I thought he played very well again when he wasn't hurt. He didn't play very well in Philly, but he has a pedigree to. He's a first round draft pick, or he's a high draft pick, and they expected a lot from him, and it just didn't happen in Philly. And so I wasn't expecting a lot from him last year when we picked him up. Of course, my wife's laughing like, "Aha, Sidney Jones sucks," because she's an Eagles fan. We get him, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this dude doesn't suck. I didn't see anything from Sidney Jones that made me think that he could not play corner in the NFL. What it's going to come down to is essentially, I think, the backup corners and that nickel corner. So that I think is going to be the camp battles because Tyson Campbell, you know, the jury's sort of out on that pick. I know you liked the pick. Um, I was okay with it, but I didn't really know him. I thought maybe we could have went offensive line and really helped, our team. I think there versus him. So, but what do I know? I mean, he hadn't played NFL ball. Maybe that dude comes in and he's one of those guys that I was talking about where you sometimes can move those corners, the safeties to corners. The way the defense works in that back end, including the cornerbacks, is sometimes you can move those pieces around and it gives you more flexibility. So, and he hopefully he's going to make the team regardless. But at this point, what I want out when we get done with camp, I want to hear that he was vying for the starting job based off his play.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting from a high second rounder. Because to me, he's a first rounder. He's a very in first rounder. So that's what I'm expecting.
Well, and here's the thing. So let's jump into this right off. Camp battle for me. I think it comes down to this. Because you kind of, I think, alluded to this to a certain extent because you talked about Trey Herndon and Sidney Jones buying for the slot. That's
Yeah,
what
for
I
the
heard you
nickel
say.
corner. Yeah, for the nickel.
Or nickel, I mean, yeah. Well, here's the thing about that, because one of the things they did when they drafted Tyson Campbell, they was talking about him as being a nickel, which always seemed strange. I talked about that when we talked about the after the draft, now going over the draft picks. So my thinking on this, and I'm trying to see how this works out. I think it's C.J. Henderson versus Tyson Campbell to see who's going to be that other starting corner on the other side of Shaquille Griffin.
And you know what? And that's possible. My only caveat to that is that I think C.J. Henderson, when he was on the field, played. He had one or two really good games, and then I think he had three not so good games, and then he got hurt. Um, Again, he's a Gator, and you know how I feel about the Gators. I don't think we should draft them high at all. However, we did. He's a Jag now, so I I think he starts there in camp. And if Tyson Campbell takes it, then Tyson Campbell's the better player. And then you worry about what you do with CJ Henderson. The Urban Meyer and Balky, they didn't draft him. It's not their dude. But he's there. He's sort of penciled in as the starter. So if Tyson Campbell beats him out and locks down that other corner, hell yeah, woo! I'll take it because that means we just got better.
Yeah. I like the idea of the competition at an important position like that too. And it's funny because as we're talking about it, camp battles, I'm a little bit changing my position to a certain extent because I remember when they drafted Tyson Campbell, immediately there was talk about, oh my gosh, what does this mean for CJ Henderson? They must not have a negative view on CJ Henderson. Now, I'm not going that far. I don't think they have a negative view of CJ Henderson. I just think that's a super valuable position. And when the value matches the possibility, you can't have too much corner depth, I don't think. So when you draft somebody like that, hey, it doesn't matter. You can throw them in the slot or the nickel, I suppose, if you want to. But regardless, you go out and you get a free agent, and you got two rookies basically buying that are supposed to be good college prospects for the pros. I like that. It's a premium position. Let's see who wins. Let's see who starts. It can only make us better. And if it's a slight edge, is what you don't want to see is somebody clearly win because did they clearly win because they're just you know an amazing corner that or because the other person's just that bad. Um,
You know what? I don't know. I think because before you said something, that cornerback spot wasn't really a competition in my head. Because I just think experience plays so much into it, and CJ Henderson has that experience, and he was obviously good enough to be a first round, you know, draft pick. Um, so and that's another reason why if Tyson Campbell wins, even if it's by a slim margin or by a huge margin, then to me it's an upgrade because like I said, I didn't see enough to truly know whether CJ Henderson is a good corner in this league or a bad corner. I saw some plays and I thought, yeah, he can do this, and then I saw some other plays like, what the hell is he doing? But that could be a rookie too,
yeah.
So I don't know. If he takes it, sweet. If not, I really think it's the nickel and the backups. You know, um,
I can't hold anybody to the performance we saw last year, especially a rookie. I mean, I think just that team last year, there was just something weird about it. Like I've said this before, I don't think the roster was a 1-15 roster. Nobody played up to the standard they were supposed to. So when you're talking about intangibles and things like that, look, something happened last year. It was odd, and hey, it doesn't matter at this point because what ended up happening was it may have been a blessing in disguise. We got one of the most generational quarterbacks prospects Whether it translates, nobody, can't say right now, but I like that. If you're going to suck, that's a year to do it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I like that chance. I
and
really do. I mean, this could be our Andrew Luck. This could be our Troy Aikman. And about damn time. You know, if we had to go through one shit season to do that, I'm cool. I
so
don't
any
have
other,
any.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Say that again.
I said, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, I thought you had said something before you said sorry. You didn't mean to interrupt.
Um, are you, any other camp battles you want to highlight in the secondary before we move on to the rest of the defense?
No, no. I think, like I said, I think safety I think safety is going to be where all the fireworks are. I think that's really where it's going to shake out. I think we have pretty good. We have basically four good corners. I would trust with playing, and I'm okay with that. However, that shakes out, you know. Um, as long as Shaquille Griffin doesn't fall to number 4, I'm okay. And the only reason I wouldn't be okay with that is because of how much we're paying.
So let's move on to, and for me, I don't know how this grabbed you, but I tend to look at the lines and the linebackers the same, just because of the fact that I don't really understand what we're running 4-3, 3-4. They talk about it being a hybrid type scenario, so I never know. Do you consider Josh Allen to be defensive end, or do you consider him outside linebacker? So that being the case, I
Yeah,
kind of just merged it all together.
yeah. So currently here's the way I think it goes. I think you got Josh Allen, you got Miles Jack, you got Schobert, and then you have Javon Case on. Okay, or Levon Case on. Those are going to be your 4 starting linebackers in that specific order. If you're looking at their backs, that's how they're going to line up. That's how they're going to start. I think we're going to be more in a 3-4 than we will be in a 4-3. I think while there may be times where we see Josh Allen put his hand on the ground or Kason put his hand on the ground, I don't think it's going to happen that much. So, and to me, there really isn't much of battles for their backup. I mean, there's no point talking about who's going to be the 6th and 7th linebacker, you know. So,
Well, let me throw a little battle to look out for to me. If we're running 3-4, I agree with you. The likelihood is we're going to have Josh Allen, and we're going to have Chase on the other side.
mhm.
Um, I would, in my mind, the way I kind of see this happening is Josh Allen's backup will be Jordan Smith. Um,
Now, are you sure? Is that the side he played? Did he play the left side, like the strong side?
no, I don't know what side he played, but he just
Okay,
looks like the bigger defensive
okay, yeah, I thought he
guy.
played weak side, which would be over there, and that'd be Case on. So I thought you were gonna say Chase on. I said Case on, but Chase on and Jordan Smith was gonna be battling for the starting job.
No, I was actually leaning toward Leon Jacobs. I was thinking Chase on Jacobs, but regardless, Chase on Jacobs and Jordan Smith, um, depending, I mean, Josh Allen's the lock for me. And I didn't see enough of Chase on last year to really think that I can't lock him into anything at this point.
No, and I agree based on his on-field performance. However, I do think that because he was a 3-4 outside linebacker at LSU, I think this year with the experience he gained last year, I think this year this dude might be a damn wrecking ball. Might be.
I like
Because
that
he,
optimism.
he he's got the physical attributes, and he started to play much better as the season went on. Now you put him where he's played since he was in Pop Warner, and he doesn't have to think that much. Yeah, I mean it. And no, I don't think, um, I don't think Smith is much more than a rotational guy here or there. where you know it's going to be 3rd and long, and your defense may have been on the field a little too long, so you put him in just for a spark. I think that's how we use him. Leon Jacobs, he can play, but I think he's Josh Allen's backup. And then I think we get like Shaquille Quarterman to back up one of the two middle guys. And I think that's who we roll with.
What's your thoughts on Quincy Williams?
I think he's done.
See, he's somebody I'm gonna look hard at. I think I want to see if he pops at all.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't, and I don't mean pop, I mean this dude's gonna have to explode because
well,
if
how many we're running with a 3-4, 4-3 hybrid. So my thought process on that is we're going to have other linebackers because Josh Allen's double dutying it, Chaseon's double dutying it. When we're running in a 4-3, my expectation is Josh Allen's going to be out there. And
that is
so,
correct.
You're talking about rotating a lot of guys. That's Cullen's deal. So that includes the linebackers, especially if you're thinking 3-4, you're going to have more linebackers on the field. You're going to have more than Shaq Quarterman backing up the you got 3 backups for 4 positions. To me, you think that's enough?
I don't know if you run 8 linebackers. I don't know if you keep 8 linebackers. I think you keep probably 7.
Well, in total, you're going to keep 16 defenders if you're not talking about the secondary. That's typical. So you're talking about like 9 linemen, 7 linebackers, but there's overlap. This is what I'm kind of getting at,
Well, there is, but you try to break it up as best you can. And I think the way to do that is stop confusing yourself. Let's not worry about a 4-3. Just focus on the 3-4.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's talk about some stuff then. So, any other linebacker battles that you kind of see? Anything you think we missed?
No, I actually think our starting 4 are not only locked, it's a hard lock.
Really?
Which means if one of them wins, if somebody who's outside of that top 4 wins, they deserve to play. That's the way I think about it. Just like Tyson Campbell.
It would have been interesting to see how Dylan Moses would have looked out there if they hadn't IR'd him so fast.
Yeah. Now, Dylan Moses might have been my guy who'd been like, okay, this guy might be the dark horse. He might be the guy that comes out of nowhere. Just because of his pedigree, when he did play at Alabama, there were times where the dude basically took over games just on defense. Now, I know it's Alabama, but still, that's a feather in the cap.
All right, so let's do this then. Let's move to the defensive linemen, if you're good with that. And let's see. Honestly, I don't see much in the way of battles, except for maybe you could argue Jihad Ward and Dewan Smoot.
I definitely
seeing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, I think that's a battle, but right now I still got to give the edge to Smoot. Jahar Ward would actually have to do something crazy. I think
He's a Colin guy, man.
I know.
He specifically went after Ward.
Yeah, and he might. I think Tuafele is going to be in a rotation. Probably not a dominant rotation to start, and as the season progresses, he'll get a little bit more time. I think the only battle here, honestly, is I think it's Doug Constance versus Tavian Bryant. Yep, and I'm saying his name wrong.
Well, you said both of them wrong.
Well, whatever. Correct me, sir.
Hopefully people know who you're talking about.
Well, if they don't,
I'm tired of correcting you, man.
Well, just on Tavian Bryant. Give me the other guy.
Doug Costin. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
Yeah, Doug Costin. Sorry.
Yeah, I have that too. What about Laurenti McCray? Do you feel like he jumps into that mix at all?
I don't think so.
No.
He may be a rotational guy or may not even make the team.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Taven Bryan, Doug Costin, and Lorenta McRae are the
They're the guys that are
linemen
fighting.
that
And
one
what
of those
bothers
three will make it. That's the way
right,
I'm
and
looking at
here's
it.
what bothers me is that Tavian Bryant is the number one dude, and he shouldn't be. It should be Doug Costin's based off of what they did last year. Tavian Bryant hasn't ever done anything for this team. Why why is he that guy? It should be the other way because he got outplayed. Everybody knows he got played. Out Urban Meyer. Guess what? Tavian Bryant got outplayed. That's the guy who should be leading. And if he was leading, I don't think this would be a camp battle. But he's not. It's Tavian Bryant. So I think Tavian Bryant's spot is open to be won, and I don't think Tavian's going to do it. I think this is the year he gets cut.
Yeah, you could be right, but like what you just said about Chase on, I think that Taven Bryant, this position change may be some sort of benefit to him because he's definitely going to be playing defensive end in a 3-4. And I just feel like looking at him, he looks like a 3-4 defensive end to me, but we'll see. Yeah, but that's the battle, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. So you've got the linebackers locked. I kind of feel like there's a little bit more play there, but we both agree pretty much on the defensive line as far as
Yeah.
the way they go. All right, I guess we got defense covered. So let's move over to the offense. You where you want to start there?
Let's start at quarterbacks. I
The
don't see any. I
who
don't
who,
see any
who will be the
battles.
starter?
Yeah, I don't see any battles there. But there were some articles that just came out that said that Gardner Minshew like hasn't took a shit in like 2 weeks. And it
I
was
saw
it,
that.
it was funny,
No,
right? That's why you like Gardner Minshew.
yeah,
But truth be told, he's the backup, and I think he's an excellent backup. If you want to say there's a camp battle at quarterback, it's between Jake Luton and CJ Beathard. Those are
yeah.
the two that are one of those two guys is either going to get cut or is basically going to get released and moved into the practice squad. I don't know why they signed CJ Beathard. I don't know what they were thinking. I thought that was kind of stupid on their part, but whatever.
Well, look, here's the thing, and we're kicking a dead horse, I think. But I mean, I said this before. I never understood this whole thing about, uh, as much as people love Gardner Minshew, and I just got done saying that I don't throw everybody out who had bad performances last year, and Gardner was one of them. So my thought process on this has always been that Gardner is it at the very minimum he's a great backup in this league. He's shown that to me already. CJ Beathard, you're going to go out and get this guy. So yeah, I never did understand that, but the way everybody seemed to be talking about it was it's inevitable that they're just going to they're going to trade Gardner. They're going to, I mean, it's like, and then all of a sudden you started hearing these sort of things. Every now and again, a coach might say positive toward Gardner, which you don't know what that means. Sometimes they're trying to ramp up trade value or, make, who knows what it is, but now it kind of feels like everybody's of the mindset that Gardner's the locked second, which is what you just said. I thought that it was always the way it should have been.
I
I mean,
think
unless he loses the position legitimately, but yeah. So I mean, and do you even keep three quarterbacks? I mean, are you going to keep CJ Beathard?
I honestly I would have never brought him in. But if there's even a remote battle between him and Jake Luton, hell no. I get rid of Beathard
Keep
and
him.
I even release Luton, but then I move him onto my practice squad so that if one of my quarterbacks gets hurt, I can call him up.
Yep.
That's the way I believe the quarterbacks will shake out. Running backs, I don't think there's any battle anywhere.
And I hate that. Let me just say something real quick. I hate to bring the guy's name up, but if you need an emergency quarterback, it may lock in a certain someone to make the roster as a backup
Oh,
tight end. I'm just
oh,
saying, emergency
my
quarterback,
wife
man.
says, sir. I can't with you.
You got an additional roster spot you don't have to carry.
No, no. If Tebow has to throw the ball, we're screwed. We're
You don't
screwed.
have to throw the ball. You just run.
That's what you got, James Robinson and
It's an
ETN.
emergency quarterback, man. You're screwed either way. That's how that works.
Bring in the punter. Bring in
All
the
right.
punter. He's better.
So you wanted to go running back?
No. I think we can skip right over running back.
Oh,
I don't see a battle there at all. If you're talking about the fourth
nothing to
place,
watch. There's nothing to watch.
there's nothing there. So
Fair enough. I like it. Let's skip.
yeah, and it's almost the same thing with receiver. I think our top three receivers are set. I think our fourth guy is Colin Johnson, who I liked a lot last year. I thought he was able to play really well with the time that he got. I don't think he's going to get a lot of time again this year. It's how they shake out behind Colin Johnson.
Yeah.
I really, really want to see Jalen Camp. For some reason, Georgia Tech puts out those receivers, and so I want to see Jalen Camp. I want to see what he does. He's the guy I'm watching. I'm not watching the position battles per se. I'm watching Jalen Camp because if Jalen Camp's any good, I think you keep either who is it, Dorsett and the other guy they brought in. I think you may keep one of them, and then that's it. Whichever one we're not keeping, we're cutting. So it's basically the bottom churn of the roster.
You got Pharaoh Cooper and Laquan Treadwell as well. So they're basically vying, I think, for that bottom spot.
Yeah, there's another guy. It's a weird name.
Amato Bebe.
Amato Bebe. I want to pay attention to Amato Bebe. Yeah. But Amato Bebe may be my dark horse candidate.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It kind of comes down to what you were saying, I think, when it comes to Beathard and Luton. I think if Cooper or Treadwell are not really distancing themselves from Amato Bebe, you probably are going to release those guys.
And then you keep a Bebe, yep.
Only because, I mean, to me, Amato Bebe is probably the one guy that I would really love to be on the practice squad. Because I'd really like the idea of keeping either Camp or Amato Bebe on the active roster because they're both rookies. I like the idea of having a more backup seasoned guy, or back there. But I don't know that, if you put them on the, and it depends on what they do. Like maybe they sneak them on early enough to where nobody gets to see them, and I don't know how that works. But I'd be worried he'd be stolen. That's all.
When Gardner Minshew comes into these preseason games, I will be looking for Amato Bebe and Jalen Camp. Those are my two watch guys from this receiver class. And they're not going to be any one of the top four. But 5 and 6, they definitely could be that. And so to me, it's very close to like a safety. The only reason why I thought safeties was better is because there's an actual starting position associated with it. There's an open starting position.
Yeah.
These guys, the receivers, it's not open, not a starting position. However, but a backup position. And I think they could bring some excitement. I liked what I saw from their college highlights. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think what that does is that emphasizes the strength of that position. I think that surprisingly, the Jags do have a rather decent looking wide receiver core. I think they're just about average, maybe a little bit higher. Who knows? But I'd put them right on paper. I'd put them. They're not they're not top third, but they're somewhere right up under there.
So. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. And like I said, I don't see any battles coming for the top 4 positions.
All right, tight end battle. Let's get to it.
Tebow gets cut. First cuts.
Okay, you got him getting cut.
Yep, right. Tebow's cut.
So who's so we typically keep 3 of them. I'm guessing Oshak Hennessy, you gonna keep him?
I'd keep Hennis, or I'd keep O'Shaughnessy.
All right.
You said
Manhurts is
Oshak
obvious.
Hennis.
Yeah, yeah. You
You said
don't.
it like two damn names, and you talk about me getting names wrong.
No. That was the whole Key and Peele deal. You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh yeah. No, that's that whole thing.
Yeah,
We
I
call that Balaki.
oh Balaki, yeah.
Yeah, you need
Here,
to get down to Oshak Hennessy's office. Yeah.
I think I think in this case, here's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna keep sort of two starting tight ends. O'Shaughnessy will be our move tight end or a receiver tight end, and Manhurts will be our blocking tight end. I think at times we will use O'Shaughnessy to block, and we'll send Manhurts out in routes. But I
Mhm.
think predominantly those are our two guys, and then I think we got Farrell learning the position.
Okay. Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. Um, I'm thinking that, except for I'm putting Tebow on the active roster, and Farrell is going to go on the practice squad. That's the way I'm looking at it.
That's possible, but if they don't play Tebow on special teams and he's at least not decent, I'm pissed.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Now he better be doing some extra, but that's my expectation. Is I think that they're going to have him doing some different things. Like I said
Yeah.
before, I can see
So
him
if you go
being a little
into
bit of
a
a goal line guy.
yeah, because if you go into a game with two tight ends, one blocker, one receiver, and one of them gets hurt, you can manage that game with the other guy. So you don't necessarily need three tight ends on the game day roster. You can have them on your team roster, but on the starting roster for that day, you don't necessarily need three tight ends. You would keep three because one of them's generally a decent special teams guy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if Tebow makes this team, man, it's special teams. I don't think it's tight end. I think it's special teams.
Well, then here's something we need to look out for. We need to look for special teams, and we need to see how Tebow, Farrell, and Ellison look on special teams. Because
Yep.
to me, that's going to be the
Yeah, I think I
kicker.
think you're right. I think Farrell makes the team, but I think he goes to the practice squad because that's a good way just to stash him to later. And in case you need him, you can always call him up later in the season, and you still get him good quality NFL reps. So
I think if we're good there, we're looking at O line, and we can pretty much.
all
I
right,
think that's the
so
team once we get done with O line. So what you got
yeah,
for O
I
line?
think I think I think the battle for O line, honestly, and I hope it's an open competition, is our tackles. It's essentially our two starting tackles, Jawan Taylor and Cam Robinson versus Walker Little.
So I get what you're saying there. Um, I'd be interested to see if it works out that way. I sort of feel like Walker Little is your backup tackle regardless. And of course, this is open to the, if he comes in and just blows people's doors off, it'd be interesting to see what they do at that point. On this point, I will give you this. I do expect them to work him on both sides starting out, but I think I almost feel like this guy hasn't played football in a long time. And as much as I think the prospect of him being this this eventually this good tackle is there, I don't know that it's reasonable to expect it day
Oh,
one
so
of the
you
opening
don't even
season
think it.
either
You don't
side.
even think it's a battle. You don't think it's a battle. You think he's going to get back up and he's just going to sit there to work on his craft, unless
Yeah.
somebody gets
Now,
hurt.
and it depends on what you say. Is it a battle? Sure, but is it something I'm expecting to see this great battle? No, not really. I want to see him work. I want to see, being on the outside, you O line, you kind of can sometimes see them a little bit better than you can the inside guys to judge. So it'll be interesting to see if you see him pancake a bunch of people. If you see him doing a lot of stuff, being real physical out there, then I think maybe your point. I'll start getting my radar up a little bit, thinking that maybe he's fixing to take Jawan Taylor's spot.
And that's a fair argument. I mean, the guy hadn't played football in 2 years, so he's got some stuff negative to having him there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just I'm so sort of pissed off on our tackles that I'm ready to get rid of both of them. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's
I'm
what.
with you. I'm with you. I get it too.
So one battle who is, and let's see, Brent Barch versus, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I could not remember it earlier when we were talking about it. Who is the starting guard?
AJ Khan
AJ Khan. We have
can.
been trying to get rid of, and I was thinking about this. We've been trying to get rid of AJ Khan since he's gotten here. And he somehow still has managed to get into the starting lineup. And honestly, the interior of our line played very well last year.
Yeah,
I'm not sure we have any other battles.
yeah. Linder's a lot, and Shatley is your backup to all three of the inside
Yep.
positions. So you got that. Norwell
Is a
is a
lock.
lock, and then it's AJ Can, and it's whether or not somebody. I know Will Richardson challenged him. Um, I don't. There's something about him though. It just seems like a little bit of fool's gold to me because for whatever reason they just uh,
Like they keep trying to replace him and you keep hearing about it, but the dude still ends up in the starting lineup.
yeah.
Like every game one, he's out there as a starter.
Yeah,
So
I think Will Richardson too. I think what ended up happening was he sucked so bad the first year that he played that, and he was a draft pick. I forget where they drafted him, but he was so bad. But they kept him because he was a draft pick. The next year when he came back, they go, "Oh, look how great he is!" And he wasn't great. It was just he was just way better than what he was last year. And but he still wasn't good enough to
to
unseat
unseat
AJ
can't, yeah,
Cannon. So
yeah. So
does he keep
roll
that
can,
trajectory? Is I guess is
yeah.
what I'm saying. Maybe he's someone to look out for. Maybe he just keeps that trajectory going and becomes
A quality starter, and it may be this year. I mean, but if that happens, it's one of those cases where we see the backups come in and we see him bulldozing people, and then the coaches see it in practice and they're like, okay, let's start getting him more reps. Then he gets more reps, and then he's still bulldozing people, and then he's like, all right, he takes over. But that's one of those long camp battles.
yeah.
And probably most of these are going to be long camp battles.
Yeah, the offensive line is going to be interesting because it's going to be just the backups basically, and like you said, the AJ Can spot to see if somebody can unseat him as the starter there. And basically, I think we kind of locked in all of the roster at this point. I would say that the Ben Barch, the Will Richardsons have to worry about. As much as we want to say, can they vie for that starting job? They also have to worry about the guys behind them too. The couple guys just to mention is Derwin Gray, Austin Pleasant, and then there's like three other guys there too. So you don't know if there's any sort of Casey McDermott, Trevor Wallace Sims, and Garrett McGinn. So to me, I've got Ben Barch uh, there, but maybe that's just because we know that guy. He's the smoothie guy or whatever. So
Yeah. Now,
who knows? So to me, that's a camp battle there, but it's one that's probably not real sexy, and we probably won't ever know what.
yeah, and it's
Oh,
it is
that guy's the guy. It's like
it's
right at the
definitely
end.
hard because, man, by the time they get into the third quarter of some of those preseason games, even in the Jags, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, who? you know, and so yeah, I mean, but I think it says something that most of the camp battles are taking place at the bottom end of the roster. To me, that's positive. That means you got a pretty good starting caliber roster. Why we sucked last year? Well, I'm going to say we just sucked because we wanted Doug Marone gone and we wanted Trevor Lawrence.
I I think that's fair. I mean, you can't take the psychological aspect out of sports, and I think I may have said this before, when you have and to me basketball is what I kind of highlights this the most, but you see it in all sports. When people get on fire, I mean, they just in their mind they're throwing a shot up and it's going in, and it doesn't even matter where on the court they are, that sort of thing. And there can be the opposite effect of that, and that's what I feel like we had going last year. It was like, all of a sudden after that, um, definitely that Miami game. I think the Miami game, our heart got ripped out, and people mailed it in at that point.
Yeah.
So, which was, like I said, it could have been a good thing. But yeah, I think the roster last year was better than 1-15, and I think their record is a testament to you can't keep backing crap and have players keep buying in. At a certain point, once they realized, all right, I guess we are as bad as everybody thought. That was you can't get it. It's tough to get out of that mindset because you don't have the leadership there to help get you out of it. And I think that's what we ran into. So we've got the opposite thing going, at least as far as the trajectory is concerned and the confidence. Whether it's deserved or not, we don't really know. And the roster, as much as it was better than a 115 roster last year, it to me on paper improved quite a bit. So it stands to reason that we're a lot better than what we
Yeah.
were last year.
One thing I really want to hear moving forward coming out of camp is I want to hear that the offense is totally beating the shit out of the defense. You know how every day they'll tell you who won, offense, defense, defense had a great day, blah, blah, blah. Oh, offense had a, every day I want to hear the offense totally beat the shit out of the defense because the defense usually has the advantage.
Yeah.
So normally when training camp starts, you always hear the defense won, the defense had the coming out the gate. I just want to hear the offense tearing it up. I really do. That'll give me so much more confidence, in our ability to score points. I
To
don't think
me,
our defense. I don't think our defense is bad, but yeah, that's what I want to hear.
see, I'm so worried. I'm almost the opposite, man. I'm so worried about um I'm so worried about the defense because to me that was one of the biggest problems. I mean, last year that defense was just Swiss cheese, and I felt like the confidence of the teams we played, they felt like they could do stuff whenever they wanted to, for the most part. And
Yeah,
if we cannot turn that around, and don't get me wrong, we'll be a lot better. We'll be better. I hope it's a lot better on that side of the ball. But man, I feel worse. I think if I see and don't get me wrong, you'll be like, oh, Trevor is carving the defense up. There'll be some decentness in as far as that's concerned. But hey, I'm gonna wonder at that point, what's this guy gonna look like against the other teams? Because is our defense just that bad, or is he
well,
that good?
if I got to choose one or the other, I'm choosing offense this year. I want to hear nothing but offense is killing it, like Peyton Manning style. Boop 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 touchdown. Boop 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 touchdown.
Well, I hope they do that against the other teams in preseason.
Well, yeah, that would be my hope too.
Yeah.
Because at
Well,
least
yeah.
then, at least if we get in shootouts are always entertaining. So
I want to see an aggressive defense. I don't care if they get beat early on in the preseason. I want to see, and shoot, I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be one of those things where they're like, he's holding back you can't reveal the defensive schemes, and it's like, oh gosh, I hate that crap, man. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But this is where we get down to it, where we get to actually see what happens. So
yeah, what do we got? About 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks for my first preseason game. Veterans reported today.
Yeah, if
Camp starting. NFL is here.
yeah, unless you know, the COVID variant comes and
Yeah. Well, wait a minute.
takes them
Wait a
out.
minute. Hey, not 90%. I think 14 teams have 90% vaccinated players. And the Delta variant is only targeting non-vaccinated people.
Is that right?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what they said.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I
that's
can't say no
interesting
more.
because
I
they
can't
don't
say
have.
no. Go ahead.
Yeah, we don't want to go down this road anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, YouTube might ban this one for false information or whatever.
yeah, we didn't give any information. YouTube, shove it.
I don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we don't know what the heck we're talking about. We're not giving medical advice here. Who do you think we are? The government?
Well, all right, brother. I think that's it. We ran through most of the team. We established who the backups are. I think who the starters are, and basically what positions are up for grabs. There isn't a lot of them, at least not starting. So some of the rooks got a chance. They always do, and the vets have to prove it, and that should be the way it is.
Well, we'll take a look, and when things start to unfold, we can revisit what we thought and
I think we should.
discuss it.
That sounds like an excellent idea for a podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on our podcast. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop us a comment. All 16 of you people.
I like the fact that you're the one that panders. I appreciate that. That way I don't have to.
Well,
I don't
trust
give
me,
a
I always
crap
feel a
what
little
y'all
low.
do.
I always feel slightly less doing it. So
Yeah.
whatever. All right.
All right.
Ready to sign off?
Yep. See you guys. Oh, you got to do Duval.
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 All right. Bye, guys.